Welcome to Hatman Strikes Back Daily Boxing News. For most of his career up to this point, Lawrence Okolie has become synonymous with holding, yes, but generally just being boring and mundane in the minds of most boxing fans. Boring in the ring and boring outside the ring, in interviews and press conferences and what have you. Like so many fighters, he would just go through the motions. But something has happened over the past year, let's say, since Okolie has moved up to bridgerweight and now heavyweight, whereby he's come out of his shell. And he was never a shy person, but he's come out of his shell now as far as his sense of humor. We come to discover that Lawrence Okolie's actually got a wicked sense of humor. He's got some great, what do they call it, dry wit? He has this deadpan sarcasm about him, which is, at least to me, extremely amusing and entertaining. We saw it at the press conference for the Richard Riakporhe fight, which I'm not sure what's going on with that fight, but yeah, at that press conference, we saw Lawrence Okolie tormenting Richard Riakporhe, truth be told, with that deadpan sarcasm, claiming that when he had that confrontation with Riakporhe at that cinema, he'd walked up to him and said, "Madonna's old now." Because you know he didn't actually say that, right? He was just claiming he said it for comedic effect at the press conference. And again, he said it with a totally straight face, not even a smirk on his face. Totally deadpan. And somehow that makes it more funny to me anyway. And we'll come back onto the Riakporhe situation in a moment, but it was Dillian Whyte's birthday a couple of days ago. And so Lawrence Okolie put this post up on his Instagram page. As you can see, he said, and again, this was on Dillian Whyte's birthday when he wrote this post. He said, "Although we've had our differences in the past, I'd like to wish Dillian Whyte a happy birthday and peaceful retirement. He's been a great ambassador for the sport and proves being juiced off your bleep isn't a recipe for success. It's inspiring to see him leave the sport on a high after his recent pay-per-view shows against Tete and Hammer. I truly believe those are the kinds of shows that shape the landscape of boxing into what it is today and encourage powerhouses like Riyadh Season and TKO to enter boxing." I mean, yo, the sarcasm is crazy here in this post on Dillian Whyte's birthday. I mean, and funny enough, Dillian Whyte replied by saying, "Well done, my son, you are learning." Now, I would like to think that Dillian Whyte is just bigging Lawrence Okolie up for his trash talk, because Dillian Whyte is a trash talker. And so rather than going mad at Lawrence Okolie for the stuff he's saying here, he's like, okay, now you're learning how to trash talk. But I'm also considering the possibility that Dillian Whyte hasn't read this post properly. He's maybe just glanced at it, and he's under the false impression that Lawrence Okolie's actually genuinely complimenting him on his birthday. I'm not sure which it is. But if Dillian Whyte was a little confused about the post and maybe didn't understand that it was hostile towards him, really, it was highly sarcastic, then he can be in no doubt about where Lawrence Okolie is coming from following his recent interview with Gareth A. Davis, where Lawrence Okolie accused Dillian Whyte of ducking him, said that he's cowering like a little chicken. He says that Dillian Whyte isn't going to get a big payday against Anthony Joshua, so he just needs to stop being afraid. Again, I'm paraphrasing Lawrence Okolie here. He needs to stop being afraid and take on a real contender like himself instead of hoping for a cash-out fight, which, again, in Okolie's opinion, he's not going to get. Okolie also says that he's chasing a Agit Caballel fight. He said there's been contact between his team and Caballel's team, and Caballel's team say they don't want to fight, or Caballel don't want to fight until September, and Okolie's looking to get out earlier than that. Make of that what you will. Most people would be favoring Caballel against Okolie heavily, but Okolie, supposedly, according to him, wants the fight and reached out to their team to try and get the fight, because Caballel is WBC interim champion and Okolie is WBC silver champion. Now, with all that aside, Gareth A. Davis in this interview didn't ask the obvious, which is, why isn't Lawrence Okolie rescheduling the Richard Riakporhe fight? Riakporhe and his team, certainly Riakporhe himself, was skeptical about Lawrence Okolie's injury. Remember, that fight was supposed to be on the undercard of Joe Joyce Filipergovic. Okolie pulled out injured, and that was only a couple of weeks ago. Now Okolie says he's been chasing fights with Caballel and Dillian Whyte. What's going on? Why not reschedule that Riakporhe fight? That's what Gareth A. Davis should have asked. And that's what I would like to know. And for the record, I was picking Lawrence Okolie to win against Richard Riakporhe. If Okolie can't get a Dillian Whyte or a Caballel or whoever else he claims he wants to fight, then again, why not reschedule the Riakporhe fight? He needs to temper his expectations as far as who he can get in the ring with next. Just like he says Dillian Whyte needs to temper his expectations as far as getting a big cash-out fight. Was Lawrence Okolie really injured when he pulled out of facing Richard Riakporhe? And if he wasn't, then why did he do it? I'm just trying to be objective here, folks. Yes, I do enjoy Lawrence Okolie's sense of humor, absolutely. And I do think he's been impressive in his last couple of fights. The opposition hasn't been amazing, of course, but he took care of business. He wasn't boring. And I also have to acknowledge and big up the fact that Lawrence Okolie tried to fight Joseph Parker when Daniel Dubois pulled out of the Parker fight. Obviously, it would have been a big payday for Lawrence Okolie, but still, that's a fight against a top-tier heavyweight in Joseph Parker. And Lawrence Okolie was on it. So as much as I acknowledge and big him up for those things, I have to also ask the question, what's going on with the Riakporhe fight? Why did he pull out? If the injury was genuine, is he going to show any proof of it? Has he shown Riakporhe's team proof of it? And why is he not rescheduling the fight? Let me know what you guys think about all this in the comment section below. And before I go, make sure you check out my most recent bit of exclusive boxing content on Patreon. It's a 3-hour film study on George Foreman. That's 3 hours of me analyzing video footage, not still images, actual video footage of the most significant fights in George Foreman's career and explaining and breaking down what made him so effective. It wasn't just brute force and physical strength and punching power. No. Foreman had a much better boxing brain and was much more crafty and clever, even when he was young, than people realize or give him credit for. And I break it all down in a 3-hour George Foreman extravaganza on my Patreon page. If you want to access that video and many other boxing film studies I've done, as well as countless podcasts and what have you, just head on over to my Patreon page, which is called The Brotherhood of Reason, and select the tier called The Boxing Brotherhood. There's no contract, there's no commitment. You can cancel at any time, just like Netflix, and it's very reasonably priced. If you just want to sign up for 1 month and then check out, that's absolutely fine. So yeah, don't miss out on my George Foreman film study. You can access that and my entire back catalog for a very cheap price. It's great value. All of the links are in the description below. Anyway, I'll leave it there. Make sure you guys like this video, share it, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. I'll catch you on the next one. I'm out. If you want to access this video along with hundreds of hours worth of other exclusive boxing content, as well as our members chat, just head on over to my Patreon page and select the tier called The Boxing Brotherhood. There's no contract, no commitment. You can cancel at any time, just like Netflix, but it's a hell of a lot cheaper. Just download the app from the Play Store or the App Store. All the links are in the description box below. And just a quick money-saving tip for Apple users. If you purchase your Patreon subscription on the desktop site or on Android, then you'll avoid the ridiculous 30% fee that Apple charges for purchases made on the iOS app. So if you're on iPhone or iPad, save yourself some money by buying your subscription on the actual Patreon website or on Android because it's a lot cheaper. Once you've made that initial purchase, you can then use the Patreon app on your iPhone or iPad thereafter to access and enjoy your content as normal.